actually a salt reactor actually enriches things to produce uranium and then filters out the leftovers, which you can pull out, and most of them are inert and can be reused for other aspects. And what happened, it was developed in the 50s, no shit. But because it didn't make a boom, the U.S. government didn't put any more money into it, and they're making a resurgence. And they're really efficient. They're like 97% efficient. They use 97% of the fuel.
That's cool.
That means a few ounces will do what a few pounds does currently.
All right.
And you got to figure, you don't have to worry about explosions, big earthquake, you don't need water. It filters out the impurities. It re-enriches some of the other salts that are in there.
Wow.
And it's pretty amazing.
That's like that could be an economic evolution there.
In 1957 to 64 era, the Russians were working on it, but they actually failed. But they had some pretty good tech. No, they came back with it later on. But America had a bomber that ran off of it, and it did like a sustained 48-hour flight.
Wow!
Before they brought it down.
That's incredible.
It was pretty incredible. So uranium, you got to also figure that
who survived that flight.
No radiation problems, really.
Really?
It's all micro done. It's surrounded. They fit in this room, and this room is like a 10 by 10.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's really small, and it would power as much of a city as a nuclear power plant would, with a whole lot less risk. So you got to figure, as much as we look at oil and OPEC today, in a couple of years, gasoline is going to be replaced with electric. So, gas is being replaced with lithium, and oil is going to be replaced with uranium.
Huh. Okay. Well, the nice thing about lithium, downside, we have to rely on China a lot for that.
Yeah, but lithium's the third or fourth most abundant mineral in the crust?
But when we have to rely on someone else, especially someone who hates our guts so much, I get a little concerned. Also, upside, though, we don't have to deal with the environmental fallout because, man.
You do. If you look at some of those mines that they put, I mean, they just literally...
Well, I said we don't. They do.
Oh, yeah, that's their problem. Another reason I love what China's doing, they're fucking themselves.
Yes, they are. They have such foresight in so many different areas, except environment and like actual people.
Well, they don't
like
care.
The one-child policy, or they'd always kill girls or get rid of them because they don't want girls.
Well, here's a funny one. China made the Three Gorges Dam, if I remember right. Yeah,
Three Gorges what?
Dam.
I've never even heard.
It's like the largest hydropower plant.
It sounds about right.
Well, they thought about, hey, we got this real need, so they built this ginormous dam system, and it's like the largest. It's like its own body of water. It is so big, it actually offset the wobble of the Earth by an extra half a degree.
No freaking shit.
Yeah, they actually damn near put us in a screwed up wobble or spiral around the sun that might, point us completely like South Pole faces the sun.
That's incredible.
Like they did, like the U.S. Like, you probably shouldn't do this because you're gonna fuck with how we spin, and they're like, fuck you, America.
Wow, that's I don't even know. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, really, look it up. There's actual science behind it. There's great articles, and it actually is so large and created such a heavy weight at that one point in China that it offset our angle and wobble. As we spin, we do have a slight movement. It's an extra half a degree bigger.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Oh well, enough of that. I think I don't know. I guess my point that we'll agree to disagree on is if you're not using the currency, especially the U.S. dollar, for anything consistent like oil or lithium or whatever, because then at that point the yen might take over. What gives it its value? And at that point, then back into crypto, the value is in the fact that it's used regularly by regular people for regular purchases and tied up in transactions. Those are the things that give it the stability.
So what you're saying is it's like a penis. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it gets bigger the more you use it.
So, speaking of small hands, let's go into some politics.
Politics, we touched on it so much. I haven't seen a whole lot new pop up. We kind of got 2 more weeks to wait before the government decides to shut down again. We could touch on immigration like we always do. I hate it right now. This country was built on immigration, but I don't know.
So I'm just such a proponent of open borders, but I want everybody tagged. I want your biometrics. I want your picture. I want everything. I want to know who your kids are. I want to know who your baby mama is. Like, I want to know everything
the end
about
times
you.
Is here. You're gonna get chipped. And you're gonna get a tattoo on your forehead or your hand.
If you're immigrating to this country, yeah.
I agree with it.
I'm not saying your kids have to be that way because if you're born here as a U.S. citizen, legally here, good to go. Whatever.
Well, if you're pregnant trying to get your kid born here, maybe we should keep you out till after the kid pops out.
Whatever. I'm not gonna because that gets down a dangerous road of, I don't know. I don't like to give politicians too much trouble. Just open the borders so people come in no matter what. You can't stop the economic pressure of people wanting to come here for money, essentially. It's
in
really
most
what it boils down
cases,
to.
it's like a public bar. Anybody can come and go. But if you're really popular and everybody wants to go there, if there wasn't some sort of segregation, and I'm not talking about, only black people can use this faucet and white people use the other one. I'm talking about, you have to be worthy of coming in. Otherwise, everybody would be here. Nobody wants to be in another country. I mean, South Korea is awesome. New Zealand's great. Australia's a pretty cool place. Britain is a cool place, but I mean, they got some really
There's
OG
lots of
thugs.
bullshit.
They got lots of bullshit. France just sucks a butthole. I
New
mean,
Zealand, I'd love to go there.
right, but even Aussies want to come to America, and not a whole lot of Americans are trying to immigrate to New Zealand, right?
Oh, yeah, the taxes are terrible.
Right, but I mean, there's a lot of benefit. But if you're an American who gets naturalized, you don't kind of benefit from the same deal. But everybody wants to come to America, and there's no line. So first come, first serve. We should take the cream of the crop. We have the ability to. I mean, for instance, if you're the best looking guy, you're super rich, are you going to marry the bottom of the barrel?
I mean,
Open borders.
Right
For whatever woman wants to get you should have the opportunity, or because you're so desirable, you should get the cream of the crop.
you make a valid point.
Okay,
Valid point.
We have the genius visa. If you're a genius from another country, we'll pay your way, we'll pay your college, and give you a green card, a permanent residency card. Why? Because now we own all the intellectual. You're the cream of the crop from your country.
Yeah.
We have student visas. Yes, come learn in American college, because what's going to happen?
You'll pay for it.
You're going to pay for it, but you're also going to enrich our cultural awareness. We're going to have more diversity while you're there. We're going to let you go back and tell the truth about America. It's not paved in gold. There is some hardship here, but it's worth it because you can go so far in America. And why wouldn't we want to pick? We don't want to bring the criminals and rapists over. We don't want to bring the lazy people over. We want to bring those that are worth our time to have here.
So that is one thing I would love to see implemented, though. We'll let you in, but if you're committing any kind of violent crime whatsoever, if you've injured another person in commission of a crime, death.
Well, that's kind of part of it. Technically, it's deportation, but that just costs too much. I like death. You're not an American yet.
Just a bullet.
Fuck off.
Yeah, you don't
38 cents.
You don't have constitutional rights because you aren't a citizen of the state.
Yeah, I kind of actually like. I have to look up more to get the names right, but if you don't do some kind of public service, you shouldn't really have citizenship. If you're born here, that would change a lot.
Absolutely. Go to Peace Corps if you hate violence. Go join the Peace Corps.
Oh, eat a dick. Go be a chaplain, but go to war.
Well, I mean, that does give you a lot better perspective in life, I believe.
I mean,
but I mean, the Peace Corps folks, there are a lot of times
Merchant
they're
Marines.
not. Oh yeah, that one too. But Peace Corps, they're not necessarily in the safe, nice areas. They can definitely be in some dangerous areas.
Boo. I'm sorry.
There's definitely some character building to seeing legs get blown up in the air, and
Yes, I'm in the Peace Corps. I'm going to mend that leg and get mine blown off. What is the point of going into a combat zone to not be a combatant? If you really hate violence that much, do something to get rid of it. All it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing.
Okay, well, in my opinion, that's policy.
I think when Jesus said turn the other cheek, it didn't mean like get your ass beat some more. It meant stop hitting the wall and go around the damn thing.
Oh, God.
Turn your cheek, walk around it. At some point, you can only go so far to be peaceful. Do a service that's going to benefit your government and your people. Show dedication. Like getting a 4-year degree requires a commitment of 4 years. That is not an easy commitment. That's why not everybody does it.
Right.
It's also expensive, which I think is too expensive. But then again, it kind of weeds people out a bit.
Well, it's going to be knocked down to probably $5,000 a year within the next decade.
What?
And we'll see a lot of universities close because this system is bullshit.
I'm telling you, you're not going to go to UCLA or to Harvard or to any number of great schools and pay almost nothing. There's a reason the price is there, because their education not only is one of the best, but their connections allow you to get a job that's going to pay for your debt.
Wrong.
Unless you're a moron.
No, there are two. The value of a bachelor's degree has been knocked down to almost nothing.
Depends what you're getting.
The reason prices that is part of it.
I have a master's in women's lib. Really, what?
Or communications. Everybody's got a freaking degree in communications.
Exactly.
And it's not everyone's fault either, though. The parents like mine said, just get a degree. You just need a degree. Just get a degree.
Well, you should have had some kind
this
of
degree does dick.
Well, what do you call that? Direction? Maybe they should have helped you find out what you love.
Yeah, it's
because
pretty dumb, though.
You go be a volcanologist, right? Entry level is like 35, 40,000.
Really?
If you get your master's, it doesn't matter where you go in the world. It's worth about 140 to 150K a year, plus all expenses paid.
So a volcanologist does not refer to a Vulcan from Star Trek.
Yes, we are
a volcanoologist.
There is a certain amount of what do you call that? That the Vulcans are logic.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But it's about volcanoes and understanding when they're ready to blow up, fault lines. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, geologists,
right?
They're pretty important. Chemists are really important. Pharmacists are important. A degree. A master's in sales, I think, is a retarded.
That's retarded. If you want to get good at sales, go sell some freaking vacuums. Go do life insurance. You'll be a millionaire if you're effective.
Oh, life insurance. If you start young, you can make some money.
Absolutely. Be a multimillionaire in 5 to 10 years.
But there's nothing wrong with a tech school either.
Oh, indeed.
What if you're not the smartest, crayon in the box, but you are capable, like you are one of the best carvers ever, and you are now working doing specialty cabinets and stuff. You can make a great living. I mean, $30-$40 an hour.
Absolutely. Or, just be a mechanic. Be a
a welder.
A mechanic. Yeah, welder.
Okay.
Build houses. No, there are certainly a lot of options. And I personally think at this point, you're in a far better position if you go to a tech school than college because there's so many freaking degrees.
Agreed. There are literally too many lawyers in most places.
And, most employers now require a degree just because they say, well, everyone's got one. Might as well require it.
Oh, I hate that. The degree or equivalency. I mean, I've got 15 years of management, and they'll still hire a bachelor straight out of college before they hire me.
Some moron with zero experience.
Exactly. But you know what? That moron hasn't learned any bad habits, they say, or they can mold that person. Well,
horse shit.
As far as I'm concerned, a degree is valuable if you're going for a real degree. If you don't want to learn history and you don't want to deal with math and English, I mean, you're going to have to deal with math and English at some point.
To a degree.
But in a trade school, you can learn to be an amazing welder, make a great living.
Yeah, agreed. And you can make a solid living without the crushing debt for the rest of your life.
Exactly. So, as immigrants are pouring in and filling all the space, we don't have enough jobs for our own people as it is. There are too many people getting that free ride to college from a foreign country, unless they're worth it.
Again, we're coming back to the same problem of the welfare state. It's not the problem with immigration that you have. It's the problem with the welfare that we just throw at them.
Well, let's put it this way. If you didn't have some of the welfare and these immigrants come here without the ability to actually compete in the marketplace, next thing you know, we've got a shit ton of really poor, homeless people committing crimes and not enough money to port their ass. I'm with you on the killing them, but you can barely kill a killer.
That's true.
Actually, funny enough, it costs more to put a man to death than it does to give him life in prison.
I am aware of that statistic.
That's ridiculous.
Retarded. Well,
why do you have to gas them?
I get upset with that, but then you look at how many innocent people have been put to death, and then later on they found out, geez, this whole DNA thing, guess we had the wrong guy. He was just a black guy in the South.
Right.
They're all guilty down there.
We have this thing called jury nullification. If a judge sees that we got a bunch of morons in the jury that are putting a guy, he can nullify that.
If the judge gives a shit and doesn't want the same thing.
Another thing is I don't think people understand reasonable doubt. We are that popularity state now. And if you believe that he did it, even though there's a shadow of a doubt, there's a lot of people going to jail because they're just not liked.
Yes, that is fact.
And as far as I'm concerned, we also should have accountability for judges and prosecutors who get caught. If you get caught putting somebody to jail because you want to keep your percentage of convictions up, you should actually have signed away your right to life. If you screw somebody's life over, you lose your life immediately. Do you know how many cases would change on that alone?
Absolutely. You would actually pursue justice instead of that percentage you were talking about.
And how many people plead guilty because they can't afford bail and sit in jail for 6 months for their trial?
Absolute regular occurrence. It's a scam against poor people.
Right. So, I mean, it's not just welfare. I mean, we have a lot of things we need to correct. Nobody willing to correct them. And I don't think most of these immigrants realize how screwed up America is.
They don't, but at the same time,
it's got to be better
than the shit show they're coming from.
And I agree, because I've been to some of those shitholes.
It's a shit show, but I'll take shithole.
Shit show, shithole. I mean, I like shitholes. I mean, they're nice to fill.
Oh, God.
I don't remember what her name was, but oh, man.
Anyway, let's get off of that shit show of a topic. Now move on to something a little bit more educational. And maybe the reason a lot of you folks are zooming in here today is some brewing.
Yeah, I'm sorry we haven't touched on it too much, but there's a lot of things to cover.